Welcome to the wild world of climate change, where the weather is more unpredictable than a cat on a hot tin roof. Our climate is warming at an alarming rate. This is not a future threat, it is our present reality. The evidence is all around us. We see it in the melting glaciers and rising sea levels. We feel it in the increasingly frequent and intense heat waves. Climate change is no longer a distant warning, it is the defining challenge of our time. The very fabric of our planet is being reshaped. Weather patterns that have held steady for centuries are shifting. What was once considered extreme is becoming the new normal. The consequences of these changes are far-reaching. They threaten our health, our food security, and the very infrastructure we rely upon. It is a crisis that demands our immediate attention and action. We must act now to mitigate the worst effects of climate change and build a more sustainable future for all. One of the most visible consequences of climate change is the increase in extreme heat. Heat waves are becoming more frequent, longer lasting, and more severe. Cities across the globe are experiencing record-breaking temperatures. These extreme heat events have devastating consequences. Heat waves pose significant risks to human health. Heat stroke and heat exhaustion can be fatal, particularly for the elderly, young children, and those with pre-existing health conditions. The intense heat also exacerbates air pollution, leading to respiratory problems and other health issues. Beyond the immediate threat to human health, heat waves also have a significant impact on agriculture. Crops wither and die in the scorching temperatures, leading to reduced yields and food shortages. Livestock are also vulnerable to heat stress, impacting meat and dairy production. The warming planet is also fueling more intense storms and unpredictable rainfall patterns. Hurricanes and cyclones are becoming more powerful, bringing with them devastating winds, torrential rains, and catastrophic flooding. Coastal communities are particularly vulnerable to these increasingly severe storms. On the other side of the spectrum, many regions are experiencing more prolonged and severe droughts. Water resources are becoming scarce, leading to conflicts over access to this precious commodity. Droughts have a devastating impact on agriculture, leading to crop failures and livestock losses. The economic and social consequences of these extreme weather events are immense. Rebuilding after a hurricane or recovering from a prolonged drought can cripple communities and strain resources. The increasing frequency and intensity of these events highlight the urgent need for climate adaptation and mitigation strategies. Facing the reality of climate change requires a two-pronged approach. While we must work to mitigate further warming by reducing carbon emissions, we must also adapt to the changes that are already happening. This means investing in resilient infrastructure, developing drought-resistant crops, and improving early warning systems for extreme weather events. Coastal communities need seawalls and other defenses against rising sea levels and storm surges. Cities need to implement heat action plans to protect vulnerable populations during extreme heat events. We must also rethink our agricultural practices, promoting water conservation and developing drought-tolerant crops. Adaptation is not just about physical infrastructure, it is also about social resilience. Communities need to be prepared to respond to and recover from climate-related disasters. This means having emergency plans in place, strengthening social safety nets, and building a sense of shared responsibility for climate action. Climate change is not someone else's problem. It is a global challenge that demands a united response. We all have a role to play in addressing this crisis. We must transition away from fossil fuels and invest in renewable energy sources like solar and wind power. Governments need to implement policies that promote sustainability, such as carbon pricing and investing in public transportation. Businesses need to adopt sustainable practices and reduce their carbon footprint. Individuals can make a difference through their choices as consumers, opting for energy-efficient appliances, reducing their reliance on cars, and supporting businesses that prioritize sustainability. Climate change is a complex issue, but the solutions are clear. We must act now, and we must act together. Our future depends on it. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more updates on climate change and how you can make a difference.